This isn't the first time I've told a story like this, but I think it would be remiss for me to say that a story idea can only be done once. After all, what's the point of a what if not to explore every avenue? Some stories and plots have just so many possibilities that it's impossible for me to not reuse the concept in some way. And frankly, I think that's a good thing. After all, so many of these concepts were great, and it seems a shame to just let them gather dust and be wasted. So why don't we try retelling some of them? Different plots and premises, different paths taken, different stories entirely connected only by a central theme. Today, I'd like to do this, and I hope you'll join me as we dive into a world where Naruto was born with Six Paths Chakra. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Naruto is such a wonderful series. One of the biggest points I've heard people mention about it in regards to issues would be the execution of the 4th Shinobi World War arc. Some say it went on too long, some criticize the way Madara and Obito were treated, and then there are those who criticize the reincarnation aspect. Some don't like it because it took the special away from Naruto. For a while, especially during the first part of the series, a big point was made that Naruto being a reincarnation proved Neji right when he said that how far you go is based upon how you're born. And honestly, I disagree with this because Naruto has always been special. He was always planned to be the son of the 4th Hokage, and he's been the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki from the beginning, and neither of those are retcons or new additions to the series. So in a way, Naruto has always been shown to be born in a unique position that others aren't in. If anything, I feel that the person who best represents success via hard work is Rock Lee. And in some ways, Naruto's fight with Neji during the Chunin exams was Naruto being a stand-in for Lee, who couldn't fight any longer. But I digress. I don't feel that the reincarnation thing took anything away from Naruto. It only changed perceptions, which from the beginning might have been misinformed. And so, that's where our story is going to begin. Reincarnation. This reincarnation won't be Indra or Ashura though, but someone else entirely. Naruto had always been different. This much was evident from the day of his birth. The tragedy of that day left Naruto orphaned, and it left Hiruzen widowed. But despite the sadness of that day, something was strange about the child born. And as Naruto now stood in front of the mirror, brushing his teeth after his morning shower, he looked upon himself to see the things that had drawn attention from the day of his birth. Running along his collarbone, he possessed 6 birthmarks. They almost seemed more like tattoos. Perfectly shaped Magatama running from his chest to his shoulders. And these weren't the only marks on his body. On his back, he possessed the same Magatama markings, 9 in a 3x3 pattern running from the middle of his back to his lower back. And sitting above that on his upper back, in the space between his shoulder blades, he had a circle within a circle within a circle within another circle, with a black dot at the center of them all. On his left hand, he possessed a moon-shaped mark. These were unique markings that seemed almost perfect in shape. Everyone knew that they meant something, but what this thing was had been a mystery. These markings weren't the only strange thing about Naruto though. His eyes were not something one would expect of someone in his bloodline. He possessed the Byakugan. This alone sent up red flags in the Hyuga clan, who began to get more involved with Naruto. It was the opinion of the Hyuga that if Naruto possessed the Byakugan, that he must be a member of their clan. But when a DNA test was done to determine if Naruto truly was a Hyuga, the results came up negative, multiple times, all from different sources. The Hyuga began to consider that maybe Naruto's Byakugan were stolen from a Hyuga, but Naruto's ability to turn the dojutsu on and off at will told them that this couldn't be a transplant. But further, not only could he turn the Byakugan off, he could evolve it more, transforming it into something spoken of only in the deepest legends within the Hyuga clan, the Tenseigan. All of this, alongside Naruto's ability to create truth-seeking orbs, led the Hyuga to postulate that Naruto was more than just some random boy who now had the Nine Tails sealed inside of him. No, Naruto had to be a sage of 6 paths, and considering the abilities he appeared to possess, it was their opinion that Naruto must be the reincarnation of Hamada, the brother of the sage of 6 paths, Hagoromo. As such, they began to ask Naruto to attempt to make use of similar techniques of healing as could be done by Hagoromo and Hamada. Naruto found that he could heal anyone in the hospital with his powers, and as such, Naruto became a mainstay there, even going so far as to study medical ninjutsu so he could know what illnesses people had so he could properly heal them. And he did so for years, until the present, with him being 16 years old. Because of this, word began to spread of what Naruto could do, and so any who were sick and injured would seek to be admitted to Konoha's hospital, even if these people were from other villages, just in the hopes that they might be able to overcome their illness or injury. And Naruto was more than happy to do these things. Life was good for Naruto. Despite being the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, and the Nine-Tails having destroyed a large portion of the village when it attacked, his position as a new Sage of Six Paths granted him better standing with the villagers. Naruto began to be hailed as a hero who could do anything and everything that the village needed. And so he settled into his life as a sage, unaware that in another part of the village there was another who had the powers of a Sage of Six Paths, but did not know it. Enter Sasuke Uchiha. Born with the Rinnegan, he too possessed the tattoos that marked him as a sage. However, unlike Naruto, these marks were never disclosed to anyone. Delivered in an Uchiha clinic by Uchiha to the Uchiha, the truth about this child did not leave the compound. Immediately upon seeing the markings, the eyes, they knew that he was the next Sage of Six Paths, Hagoromo's successor. But this would not be told. Sasuke was kept back from leaving the compound without supervision, and was only to be in public if his markings were properly covered and his Rinnegan turned to the base eye that most Uchihas started with. The reason for this was due to the distrust of the Uchiha toward the rest of the village. As the next incarnation of Hagoromo, Sasuke was destined to lead the Uchiha to safety and peace, but they could not risk him being discovered by the village. Sasuke was their secret weapon. That's at least how Fugaku saw it. This opinion was not shared by Itachi, who believed that if Sasuke was the next sage, he deserved to let the world know in hopes of protecting them. Despite this, Itachi never told a soul. He obeyed the words of his father and kept Sasuke's true nature a secret. Sasuke's true nature was known to no one, or so they thought. Konoha was not ignorant. Danzo had spies in the village who would report everything to him. Learning that Sasuke possessed the powers of the Sage of Six Paths, and knowing that the Uchiha were hiding him for personal benefit, caused further distrust to grow between the Uchiha and the village. This eventually reached a breaking point, where Danzo made the command to kill the entire Uchiha clan. He told Itachi that he would have to be the one to do it, and if he refused, not only would the clan die, but so too would Itachi and Sasuke. Itachi bucked against this, saying that they would not dare murder the Sage of Six Paths, but Danzo let him know that the village already had a sage and did not require another. Presenting the ultimatum to Itachi, he knew that there was no other choice. He loved Sasuke, but the main reason for this decision was because of Itachi's belief that Sasuke had a destiny and would one day save the world. And so Itachi did the unthinkable and destroyed his entire clan. When Sasuke asked why Itachi would do such a thing, Itachi was reserved in his words. However, what he said was simple. "What I've done is justified by no excuse. Maybe one day you'll understand. Perhaps you never will, and if not, that too is all right. But you have an important duty, Sasuke, and what I did was to ensure that you live long enough to fulfill it. Do not waste your life hating me or anyone else. Sacrifices must be made sometimes for the greater good. I hope that you can understand that, and if you can't, I hope you can at least forgive me. And once more, if you can't do that, then simply forget me. Bring the world what I never could. Peace." Itachi disappeared from Sasuke's life forever. Sasuke had no idea if Itachi was even still alive. His words stuck with him though, and for a long time Sasuke mulled them over. He was hurt, wounded by the death of his friends, family, and all he had ever known, especially by the hands of the brother he cherished so dearly. But he still knew that he was the Sage of Six Paths, Hagoromo's reincarnation. He didn't know for what purpose he was born, but he knew it must be important. Sasuke would go about learning more about the Sage of Six Paths and practicing his jutsu and powers when nobody could see him. After learning about Naruto, Sasuke grew curious. Naruto was also a sage, possessing a Tenseigan as opposed to a Rinnegan. Sasuke knew that this meant Naruto must be the reincarnation of Hamura, Hagoromo's brother, Sasuke's brother. Maybe it was his own weakness. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was the trauma driving him to this, but Sasuke desired to meet Naruto, to get to know him. But all the same, Sasuke needed to keep his status as a sage a secret, just as his father had always told him. Naruto would be the face of the sages, and Sasuke would remain behind the scenes to hide. Should anything ever happen to Naruto, the world would still need a sage to help it, and that's what Sasuke would be, a sage of shadows. So one day, as his curiosity overwhelmed him, he would buy a sort of makeup to conceal his bodily markings, and would make his way to the hospital to meet Naruto. He made an appointment to see him, and when he got let in, Naruto would greet him. "Hello, what can I do for you today?" Naruto asked with joy and an intention to help in any way he could. "What ails ya?" he asked. Sasuke shook his head. "Nothing is ailing me right now. I guess I just wanted to have a bit of a checkup." Naruto smiled awkwardly. "I don't really do those," he said. Sasuke nodded in understanding. "I suppose not, but I guess I just really wanted to meet you. I'm the last Uchiha, and I suppose I wanted to have some connection to someone I'm familially related to." "Familial?" Naruto questioned. Sasuke nodded. "As the reincarnation of Hamada, you're my, many times great uncle. I guess I just wanted to meet you." Naruto smiled. "All right then, take a seat. I'll do a once-over." Sasuke would sit in a chair as Naruto began to work. He would press a stethoscope to Sasuke's back to hear his breathing. "Can you take a deep breath in for me?" Sasuke would open his mouth and slowly take in a deep breath before letting it back out. "Good," Naruto would say. "So, what's your life like?" Sasuke asked. "Well, it's nothing too eventful, not unless it's a mass casualty event, which thankfully is rare." "So you kinda got an easygoing life. That's good. Sometimes a hectic lifestyle is tiring." "Do you speak out of experience?" Naruto asked. Sasuke shrugged. "Not really, but I used to understand it. My father was the clan head of the Uchiha before the massacre." Naruto let out a sigh. "I'm sorry to hear about that. That was before my time here. I wish I could have helped." "It's not your fault," Sasuke said. "Can you say ah for me?" Naruto asked. Sasuke opened his mouth as Naruto pushed down on it with a tongue depressor. "Your tonsils look healthy." He then moved to checking Sasuke's ears. As Sasuke sat there, he thought about how he might ask something like this, but he decided to just go for it. "You know, I'd like to get to know you better, Naruto. What would you say to maybe hanging out sometime?" Naruto pulled back with a confused look. Who asked to be friends so early on like this? An awkward moment passed between them before Sasuke spoke. "If you don't wanna, we don't have to. I just don't have many friends, you know, and I think we'd get along well." Naruto saw a sort of loneliness inside of Sasuke's eyes, and thought back to his earlier life, before he had friends, back when he was alone as well. Naruto's expression softened. "Yeah, we can hang out sometime. I'd be glad to be your friend." Sasuke smiled, and from there the two would hang out together. They got to know each other more and grew to be such best friends that they were basically like brothers. Sasuke was amazed with how nice Naruto could be, and thought that it must be due to him being a sage as well. Or perhaps simply they mixed well with each other because even if not physically, on a spiritual level they were brothers still. Sasuke wasn't afraid to admit that Naruto was healing a wound inside of him that had troubled Sasuke for 9 years. For the first time in a while, Sasuke was opening up to someone again. After heading home that night, Sasuke laid in bed, thinking about how much fun Naruto and Sasuke had. But there was something inside of Sasuke that felt like he wasn't maximizing his relationship, and he knew why. As he looked at the sun mark on his hand that he often hid in Naruto's presence, he knew that the reason he felt this way was because only Sasuke knew Naruto and he were brothers. A slight bit of guilt flooded his heart as his mind began to think about what was further beyond, the joy they would find at being brothers. A new sense of urgency began to build within Sasuke as he thought about how Naruto might react to knowing he'd been lied to. Maybe it was just paranoia, but Sasuke knew that the longer a secret was hidden, the more likely someone was to be mad when they finally figured it out. And so Sasuke knew what he had to do. Tomorrow, when I see Naruto again, I'm gonna tell him. I'm going to tell him that I'm a sage too, and his brother. I'm sure he can keep a secret. But then Sasuke began to wonder why he was keeping this a secret at all. For so long, he did so because his father always told him it was to protect himself. But now Sasuke began to question how he was supposed to make the world a better place if he couldn't tell the truth. Maybe if Naruto told people about Sasuke, it wouldn't be so bad. He would confide in Naruto tomorrow to figure out what to do next. From there, he tried to sleep. Elsewhere, Naruto was also in bed trying to sleep. However, his sleep was interrupted by the sound of a wood popping as something heavy landed on the windowsill. Naruto turned around to see a boy about his age crouching in the window frame. "So it's true," he said with a joyous smile. "You really are him, aren't you?" Naruto was at first put off when he realized the boy was blind. Your eyes, what happened to them? The boy was confused for a moment before remembering Naruto's profession. Oh, you truly are compassionate, Hamura. But don't be upset. I did this to myself to honor you. Who are you? Naruto asked. I am Toneri, the last survivor of the Moon Clan, and the sole protector of your will. I would like to explain it to you more, but I think we'd do better if we were in my castle. Come. He grabbed Naruto's hand, and before Naruto even had the chance to object, he had teleported them to his castle on the moon. The sudden movement was enough to make Naruto a little motion sick. Catching himself, he spoke. I don't understand. And why would you do this to yourself just for me? I would never ask you to harm yourself for me, not in this life or any other. Toneri smiled. You don't understand why we do this, do you? We willingly give up our Byakugan to aid to the vessel to keep the power of the Tenseigan that you once wielded empowered. We don't do it as worship, but to show that our clan is willing to sacrifice for each other. But I suppose none of that matters anymore. Why not? Naruto asked. Because a war destroyed my clan. A war over your will, and now I am the last one. Only me. And you, Toneri said. Naruto was confused. Toneri sat there for a moment and thought about it. Does my lack of eyes disturb you? Naruto shook his head. No, of course not. There's nothing wrong with not having any windows to your soul. Toneri chuckled a little. If you wish, I would allow you to make for me new windows. Would that please you, Lord Hamura? Naruto couldn't lie. He was really distraught looking at two empty sockets all the time. And besides, he wondered how having eyesight could in any way be a disadvantage. May I? Toneri nodded. Naruto stepped forward. Reaching out his hands, he placed them upon Toneri's sockets. From here, he let their two chakras communicate. He was trying to understand the shape, the form of Toneri's soul this way. He did not know what Toneri's original eyes looked like, but he knew that he could create new eyes for himself that reflected his personality, his soul. Naruto formed for Toneri a new set of Byakugan, and upon looking into them for the first time, Naruto knew that he'd hit the nail on the head. He could see Toneri's very soul through them, and it made him happy. Toneri opened his eyes with a smile and a slight laugh of excitement. I had almost forgotten what it felt like to see. Looking into the mirror at them, he spoke. You made a wonderful choice, Lord Hamura. These eyes are a perfect gift, he said. Looking back, he spoke. You know, I heard you were wise and kind, but I never imagined how so. Naruto smiled, having forgotten the very reason he was brought here. It was then that Toneri spoke and began to get down to business. What we must do is going to be hard, Lord Hamura. This much I know, as your spirit is kind. However, you were the one to decree it, and as such, we must fulfill it. Toneri stepped closer to Naruto. Let me ask you, is there any woman in your life? If you could have one girl in the whole world to be your wife, who would it be? Toneri asked. Naruto was shocked by the question, but as soon as the words were said, Naruto did immediately see a girl in his head. She was kind, sweet, and also studying to be a medical nin like Naruto. Her name was Sakura Haruno, and the many times Naruto couldn't understand what the textbooks said, she could and would explain it to him. The mere thought of her was enough to make Naruto's face flush red. Sakura Haruno, he said without so much as a second thought. Toneri then spoke. Ah, okay. I shall choose Hinata Hyuga, the woman that my father chose for me years ago. I will bring them here at once. They will help us repopulate the earth. Naruto's mind snapped back the moment Toneri said repopulate the earth. Wait. What do you mean? Naruto asked. Toneri then spoke. It is a part of your will. I apologize. I forgot for a moment that your memories did not transfer. According to your will, the world is a failed experiment of the Sage of Six Paths, and due to this it must be destroyed. Why? Naruto asked, his mind stunned by the idea that they were about to bring the end of the world. Toneri's expression grew a bit sterner. The Sage's world was to bring peace, but they failed and brought nothing but war. We've been quite patient with them, but they've already had 3 world wars, and as their technology increases, so too does the damage to the environment. Soon there will be no world left for them to inhabit. They will destroy not only themselves, but all life upon Earth, and leave it a barren wasteland, unable to ever sustain life again. It is your will that we cut the losses and destroy them. No, that was never my will, Naruto said. I never wanted that. I'd never tell you to do that. There's no way I would ever tell you to kill everyone on Earth. That's not what our records say. Just before you died, you charged us with overseeing the Earth and ensuring the world's safety against the evils of Hagoromo's people. And now that's what we're going to do. All I need to do is use your eyes to activate the Tenseigan and we may begin." "And if I refuse?" Naruto asked. "You wouldn't refuse to fulfill your own will, would you?" Toneri asked. Naruto was silent but stood resolute. "I will never comply with such a thing. You're crazy. Take me home." Toneri looked down sorrowfully. "Maybe I was wrong about you. I was sure I knew what you would want, but maybe not." "Yes, you were wrong. I would never command you to do this. There are better ways to bring peace." "No, I didn't mean that I was wrong about Hamada's will. I was wrong to assume that you, an incarnation that cannot remember his own memories, would be able to understand the decision that required so many years of knowledge and wisdom to achieve." "I apologize for assuming," Toneri said. "However, I still require your help, Lord Hamada, and I cannot allow you to say no." In that moment, Toneri formed a glowing orb in his hand and pressed it into Naruto's chest. Naruto's eyes widened, his pupils small from the shock. But suddenly they expanded as his expression softened from shock to apathy. Toneri removed his hand and placed it on Naruto's shoulder. "I apologize, Lord Hamada. It was not my wish to force you to do things against your own desires, but I'm sure one day you will understand. Wait here for now. I will go and collect our brides, and we may begin the operation." The next day, Sasuke woke up and turned on the television to see the news. What he saw surprised him. It said that Konoha was under a state of national emergency and under the threat of war. It said that world leaders were frantically meeting to coordinate a response to the threat. Sasuke immediately got out of bed and got dressed. He was out the door before he even finished getting his shoes on. Despite not being a shinobi, he was still the sage of Six Paths. He'd been born for a reason, to stop some impending disaster, and a part of him felt already that this was it. Making it to the Hokage's office, he pushed past the press, past the secretary, and went upstairs. The shinobi attempted to stop his advance, but missed him. It was so hectic that he simply slipped right by. Entering the Hokage's office, the commotion followed him. The Hokage sat at his desk, contemplating, his hands clasped together as though he were praying. He looked over his knuckles at the shinobi. "Lord Third," Sasuke asked. "We're sorry, Lord Hiruzen," the shinobi said. "We'll get him out." Sasuke would suddenly thrust his hand forward and transform his eyes into Rinnegan. "Wait, Lord Third, I'm the Sage of Six Paths." Hiruzen stood from his seat upon seeing and hearing this. "Wait, let him go," he shouted. The shinobi let Sasuke go. "Leave us," Hiruzen said, commanding the room to clear out. As the door closed, Sasuke approached the desk. Looking at his hand, he spoke. "Surprise, I guess," he said. Hiruzen lowered back down to his seat. Sasuke found a chair and sat down in it. "This is not how I planned to say this, but the world looks like it's falling apart, and something within me said that I was at the crux of my destiny, so I went with my gut." "How long have you known this?" Hiruzen asked. Sasuke spoke. "My whole life. My family hid it to protect me. Maybe that was a mistake, because maybe they would be alive if everyone knew. But that's beside the point now. What's happening?" Hiruzen began to explain. "Last night, Naruto was abducted." Sasuke was shocked, but he assumed that maybe that was the explanation for the otherwise unexplainable feeling that the world was ending, and only he could stop it. Maybe Hamada's spirit reached out to Hagoromo for help. He wasn't the only one, though. Sakura Haruno, one of our medical students who studied with Naruto, was also abducted, as was Hinata Hyuga. Hiyashi Hyuga engaged the culprit, but was defeated. However, he said the culprit began to mention the moon, and how it was soon to come down upon them, and how he would be watching the end of the world from up there. So we began to check the moon immediately, and something was different. You know how every year the moon gets 1.5 inches farther away from Earth? Well, we checked it just today, and the moon was 50,000 miles closer to us than before. If you were to see what it looks like now, it would be noticeably larger. Already the ocean is beginning to churn. The land of waves and land of water are beginning to flee from their islands, seeking refuge on the mainland. Coastal cities are evacuating as well. It's merely been 8 hours. According to our math, in just under a week, the moon will breach the Roche limit and begin to break apart, showering down its debris upon us and destroying the world as we know it. This person is planning to crash the moon on us, and we don't know how to stop it or even how to get to the moon." Sasuke thought about it. "I might be able to get there, but I don't think I can bring anyone with me," he said. "I only have enough chakra to transport myself there once. Anything more and I won't be able to fight back." Hiruzen nodded. "Can I just land anywhere on the moon? Are we even certain there's air on the surface?" "We don't know. For all we know, the guy's bluffing. But the moon is drawing closer, and because of that, it's beginning to spin around us faster." Sasuke began to think. "If Hiyashi can he take me to where the guy he met disappeared from?" Hiruzen nodded. "I'll have him meet you at the Hyuga clan compound." Sasuke reached the compound. When he got there, Hiyashi was waiting for him. "Is it true? Can you really stop this from happening?" he asked. Sasuke nodded. "I can," he said, "but I need you to show me where the guy disappeared from." Hiyashi nodded and began to lead him to where he fought Toneri. Sasuke began walking around. He attempted to sense residual chakra and any disturbance in the space-time continuum. "What are you doing?" Hiyashi asked. "I'm looking for the portal," he said. "It's not there. It closed," Hiyashi said. Sasuke shook his head. "Not exactly. It did close, but that doesn't mean it's totally repaired. You see, when you open a portal, you're stretching, bending, and tearing space-time. That's how mass gets from one place to another without ceasing to exist. It simply has to travel through a higher dimension. But doing that often stretches space-time. Think of it like an invisible scar. It's closed, but the remnants are still there. If I can find it, I might not only be able to reopen it, but travel through it to the exact location where the guy you fought last night went." Sasuke continued to search for it until suddenly he found something. Using his chakra, he reopened the portal. There it is. He looked back at Hiyashi. "I can't hold it open long. I just wanted to say thanks for the help." Hiyashi nodded. "Just stop this thing and bring my daughter home. Then we'll call it even." Sasuke nodded. "You've got a deal." He then jumped into the portal. Upon reaching the other side, he found himself in a castle. As he moved around, he looked for Naruto. In the distance, he heard talking. Drawing closer, he found a library, and inside were Toneri and Naruto. Naruto was standing oddly still, unmoving. Something wasn't right. Sasuke activated his Sharingan to get a better look, and through them he noticed that something was wrong with Naruto's chakra pathway. Something was making his chakra flow in strange ways. Naruto must be under some form of genjutsu. I gotta stop this. Sasuke then stepped into the room. Toneri turned to look, surprised. "Who are you? And how did you get to this place?" Sasuke spoke. "I don't know what your game is, but I won't let you continue." Sasuke's eyes then turned to Rinnegan. Toneri's eyes widened for a moment before he finally understood. "Ah, you must be the reincarnation of Hagoromo. It's ironic that you of all people would show up to stop this. After all, it is your world we're planning to destroy." "Why? Why are you planning to destroy the world?" Sasuke asked. "Why are you doing this?" Toneri sighed. "Sadly, it would do no good to tell you. You're about to die anyway. Lord Hamada, since this is your brother, I leave him to you then." Naruto's body began to move robotically, stepping closer to Sasuke. The air in the room changed as Naruto's eyes turned to Tenseigan. Truth-seeking orbs began to hover around him. "Naruto, if you can hear me, you gotta fight back. Stop this. I don't want to have to kill you," Sasuke said with trepidation in his voice. Naruto didn't seem to hear him though. Naruto activated his chakra mode. Instinctively, Sasuke created truth-seeking orbs of his own to serve as a shield to catch the attack. He got flung through the wall and landed in the foyer outside. He stood again. Activating the Sharingan again, he began desperately searching Naruto's chakra structure to find the source of the trance, hoping to break it. That's when Naruto came through, forming from one of his orbs a staff. Sasuke formed a shield and blade out of two of his own orbs and began to defend himself, striking back. Sasuke was at a disadvantage because he didn't want to hurt Naruto, and due to this, Naruto was able to gain the advantage, kicking Sasuke, knocking him against the wall. Sasuke peeled himself off and continued searching Naruto. That's when he discovered it, an orb of unusual chakra, but now he had to get to it. He began trying to draw closer, but Naruto's staff was quick and agile. Naruto managed to fling the blade from Sasuke's hand before knocking the shield away as well. He managed to step into Sasuke's shoulder. Sasuke let out a cry, but instead of surrendering or pulling back, he summoned his will and grabbed the pole, beginning to pull himself closer to Naruto. Reaching out, he shoved his hand through Naruto's chakra cloak to grab the unusual orb and pull it out, dispelling the genjutsu. Naruto fell to his knees as his truth-seeking orbs began to fade. Sasuke fell back. When Naruto came to again, he saw what he had done and ran to Sasuke. "What happened?" he asked. "It's nothing," Sasuke said with a smile. Naruto looked at the wound. Placing his hand on it, he began to heal it. Toneri watched from the doorway. "Hamura!" he called out. Naruto looked back. "I know you don't like this, but it has to happen." "No, Toneri, I told you already. This is not, never has been, and never will be my will. This ends now." Toneri looked down with a sigh. "I'm sorry then, but I won't let everything my clan fought and died for be for nothing. I'll destroy the earth, even if I have to take your eyes for myself." Toneri ran at Naruto, intent to steal his eyes. Falling back in fear, Naruto was defenseless. Sasuke formed a Truth-Seeker orb into a spear of his own and pressed it forward, catching Toneri by the throat. With a twist of his wrist, he snapped Toneri's neck. As they sat there for a moment, Naruto tried to collect his thoughts. It was not his hope that it would end this way. Toneri was the last of his kind, and maybe he had been misguided, but Naruto believed that maybe he might be able to make him understand. But now it was too late. Naruto would then look over at Sasuke and see his Rinnegan. Sasuke looked at Naruto and spoke. Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, but first we need to reset the moon and rescue Sakura and Hinata. And so, together, they pushed the moon back into its proper orbit and stopped it from falling. Bringing Sakura and Hinata home, the two were hailed as heroes, with the entire world recognizing both of them as the reincarnations of the two Sage of Six Paths. Their stardom skyrocketed, leaving them unable to get any time to themselves, but eventually they would find a way to escape the crowds and just talk. Sitting atop Hokage Rock, Naruto looked out to the sunset, drained from running from the crowds. Sasuke sat down beside him. So, you're a sage too. How long has that been a thing? Naruto asked. Sasuke offered a chuckle and spoke. My whole life, really. I was always told to keep it a secret so I wouldn't become a target, but I always wanted to tell you. The last time we met before you were abducted and the moon began to fall, I wanted to tell you. I never got the chance. The reason I got involved with you in the first place wasn't because I was lonely. I mean, I was. That was a big part of it. But what I wanted to do was to get to know you. As the reincarnation of Hagoromo, I wanted to get to know Hamada's reincarnation. My, brother. I hope you understand why I didn't tell you. Naruto nodded. Yeah, I get it. In a way, I'm glad that you hid it. Can you imagine what would have happened if Toneri had abducted the both of us? Yeah, I know, Sasuke said. But still, I wanted to at least tell you. Naruto smiled. It's okay, Sasuke, you're fine. All that matters now is that we're brothers. We've both been lonely for so long. It's nice to finally have a family again. And that's where I'm gonna call it. I hope you enjoyed this alternate story. I've been wanting to revisit old videos for a while. We had so many wonderful ideas there, and it seems like a waste just to drop them after a single one. I'm hoping you all feel the same too. I'd like to maybe do some more of these kinds of videos sometime. Let me know in the comments which series you'd like to maybe see get a remake. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified as our latest videos drop. And while you're at it, check out these other videos from our channel. I bet you'll love them. Anyway, until next time, peace out.